It's the Christmas edition of the podcast, which is all about the world of marketing on television through TV shopping networks and infomercials. Are we on the air? I'm your host, Sean Wilsey, and for over 29 years, I've hosted shows on cable shopping networks, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, and now I want to be your guide into this world, explaining how it works, why it works, what doesn't work, and introduce you to the people who are making it the success that it is today. And I don't know why I just read that so fast. That's the fastest I've ever read that. Anyway. On the last show, we started talking about the world of infomercials with Steve Bryant. He'll be back on the next show. But since this program is going up on Christmas Day, I thought let's have our first annual Christmas party here. And we'll celebrate some Christmas-related commercials and advertising, and because this whole world of selling on television, whether it's a TV shopping network or an infomercials and commercials, very closely knit. Sometimes they overlap so much. We're going to look at some commercials now that are all holiday themed, Christmas themed. Part of my success, I think, in this industry for almost 30 years now has been, when I was in college, broadcasting was my major, but my minor was advertising and marketing. So I took all the advertising classes and all the marketing classes. And that's why I really believe our job when we're selling on TV is creating live commercials. And therefore, it's important to know the different types of advertising. Most people in this industry don't know all the different types. There's competitive advertising, comparative advertising, institutional advertising, primary demand advertising, direct action advertising, indirect action advertising, shortage advertising. It's just there's all these different types of advertising, and those can be broken down into different categories, and that's what creates a good presentation on a TV shopping network. But again, that aside, I think some of the best commercials ever have been commercials that came out around the Christmas season. And in most of them, a product is never mentioned. It's an image that they are going for. Campbell's Soup has always done it very, very well. They're not one of the examples I have, but they advertise in emotion more than anything else, and that's a specific type of advertising that they're going for. So we're going to play some good examples and some ouch. You know what? Let's start with an ooh, ouch. Then we'll get into some good examples here because, times change. What's appropriate changes. And what is advertised on television changes. Well, let's listen to this. This is going to start off. I think this is going to be really nice. Let's listen. This is from the 1950s. Oh, that's pretty.
Friends.
By the way, let me start that again. What the hell is that? It's not pretty. It's almost creepy. That's like something from a serial killer movie. The music you would hear before the chainsaw starts up. But it's a wreath and then this company logo. I gotta hear that again. Oh yeah, that's serial killer music. That's not Christmas. It's Jingle Bells is Christmas. Okay, I promise I'll play it through this time. Here's the commercial.
Friends, here's a wonderful Christmas gift for anyone who smokes.
Uh-oh.
Because it says, Merry Christmas and Happy Smoking.
And have some cancer.
200 times. Yes, 10 packs of those better-tasting Luckies. All done up for Christmas in a beautiful carton.
And I got to admit, and these will all go on my YouTube channel, Lucky Strikes, they took their carton of death and made it look very Christmassy. It's quite pretty.
Just for Lucky Strike by the famous designer, Mr. Raymond Loewy. It'll look so bright and colorful under your Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
And it's such a welcome gift to anyone who enjoys a good smoke.
Oh, good
Because
smoke.
Smoking enjoyment is all a matter of taste.
Yeah,
and the fact
that's
of
all
the
it
matter
is.
is, Luckies taste better.
Mm.
Cleaner, fresher, smoother. That's why you can't
fresh,
go wrong
yes.
if you remember your friends with these colorful Christmas cartons of Lucky Strike.
Be happy, go lucky for Christmas gifts this year.
Okay. That's not what how I want to end this. I want to end this with this. There we go. Gotta hear that again. I swear to you, in my preparation for these shows, I mean, I put hours of research into these. I watched that thing, I don't know how many times. It just struck me funny now for the first time. I don't know where that came from. But again, a Christmas advertisement for cigarettes. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary about that at all. But no, now we're going to fast forward quite a bit. In fact, we're going to go to the 1970s for the next one. These are some great examples of Christmas commercials. And the first one is for Norelco. If you were alive in the 70s, you remember this. I promise you remember this. The animation, it's like a claymation almost, of Santa riding sleigh-like through the snow a Norelco razor. And then the announcer comes on and starts talking about the product. And again, this will all be posted on my YouTube.
Christmas is a time for closeness, and closeness is what Norelco razors are all about. The shiny new silver rotary razors in cord and rechargeable models with 36 blades, 9 closeness settings, and no gotchas. And the Ladybugs, the ladies' razors that really work.
Yes, because it's for the women. We call it the Ladybugs. You'll notice in this one, and this will be the only example, where they're talking about specific products. It's product specific, it's features benefits, so it's a little bit more of a sell to get you to go to the store and buy Norelco, but yet they make it Christmas themed with the cute little Santa on his razor through the snow.
And the Ladybug Salon, a ladybug razor plus 11 grooming attachments. Norelco, even our name says Merry Christmas.
And they end it with, instead of the brand Norelco, Noelco, Noelco. That ran through the 70s, probably into the 80s. They would change up the product that was mentioned every year, depending on what they were trying to sell. But that was a classic commercial, and the reason I give it third place in my little award here is because here we are almost 2022 and people still remember that commercial. You create a commercial that is still in people's memories decades later, you deserve to be in the top 3. The honorable mention goes to this next one. Now, I'm not even going to tell you what this is. I'm going to start playing it. Now we're getting into advertising an image. There's no product mentioned. I'm going to start playing this and just see if you can guess what this is, just from the audio. Music at the end gave it away, didn't it? A classic, I think that started in the 1980s, polar bear commercial from Coca-Cola. The polar bears became iconic with that brand. Somewhere in my Christmas decorations in a container in the garage, I still have a little Coca-Cola polar bear, little figurine from the 1980s. The interesting thing about that commercial, several things. First off, for those that didn't recognize it, it's cartoon polar bears, very three-dimensional cartoon polar bears, trying to push a Christmas tree up a snowy hill. The littlest bear slides back down the hill into his mother, father, whomever that is down at the bottom of the mountain, and then they get the tree up, and then they open up some bottles of Coca-Cola. It takes that's a 30-second commercial. 25 seconds for the brand to even show up. There is no Coca-Cola logo at any point until 25 seconds in. So for 25 seconds, there's no branding. There is no telling you what it is. It's just an adorable cartoon that keeps you glued to your television set because it's so damned cute. 23 seconds in, do they finally lift a bottle of Coca-Cola, and you can't even really identify the logo on the bottle. So the two littlest bears each take a sip of their Coke, and then, like I said, 25 seconds in, the logo finally appears on the screen with the words, Happy Holidays. Brilliant, brilliant advertising. It gets you, first of all, animals, Usually good, not always, usually good in commercials. It's very emotional. It's got the spirit of the feeling. So now you tie Coca-Cola in with thinking about Christmas. I promise you, if I were to ask you, just name a soft drink that you associate with the Christmas season, Coca-Cola comes to mind. Not one person's going to say Pepsi. Not one person's going to say RC. I would love to meet the person that says RC because I loved RC. I should say love. It's still around. RC Cola. But there's, that could almost be a whole show. Note to self, the brands that have vanished. But anyway, so that takes second place. Now, before we play the big winner of not only what I think is the best Christmas commercial of all time, but one of the all-time best commercials, period, let's play another clunker. This is from the 1960s. Remember the Dick Van Dyke Show? Boy, I was just watching a rerun of that a couple weeks ago. I happened to be going through one of the TVs that's not hooked up to cable, and, there's all these over-the-air digital networks that show very old shows, and I sat and watched a rerun of the Dick Van Dyke Show. That show holds up. It was hilarious. Very, very funny. Anyway, Dick Van Dyke played a character by the name of Rob Petrie. Sally was he was a writer for a variety show. One of his co-writers was this woman, Sally, played by the late Rosemary, who was just a man-hungry woman. Just as I was saying this, I'm thinking, boy, could they get away with some of the things in this show today? I don't think they could. Just replaying in my head that episode I just saw. Anyway, very rare today. In fact, you never see people in their characters selling a product anyplace. This is a commercial where Rob is in character, Sally is in character, they're in the office where they were writers, quote unquote, for the show, and they're about to do a commercial. Let's listen.
Hey, Rob, you talk about him. I'm mad at him. You know that
I should point out, there's a, I'll start it again. A cardboard cutout of Santa. So when she says him, she's referring to this cardboard cutout of Santa.
Hey, Rob, you talk about him. I'm mad at him. Do you know that every Christmas I've written and asked him to send me a fella, and nothing?
Well, Sal, you're taking it too personally. Actually, these Santa Claus Kent displays are up in a lot of stores right now.
Oh, no. It's cigarettes again. Rob Petrie, Dick Van Dyke, is smoking a cigarette, as I should have mentioned, and intentionally didn't, that the Santa is holding a carton of Kent cigarettes, and there's a big pile of cartons of Kent cigarettes. So here we go again with the joyous holiday gift of cigarettes.
Oh?
Well, let's just remind people that Kent cartons make wonderful Christmas gifts.
Oh, I know. I gave out 10 cartons last year. Boy, what a hit.
Sure.
Yeah, a hit as the smokers drop dead. Okay, I've done that. That's like my third "you're going to die from smoking" joke. I promise not to do any more. But the joy on her face as she talks about all these were well received.
Boy, what a hit.
Sure. Kent satisfies best. At Christmas or all year long. Look for him, won't you?
Low key. 30 seconds, which is unusual for a commercial back in that time frame. It is what it is. It's another cigarette commercial. You know what? The only thing missing from that commercial.
Fred, here's a for Christmas
The
gift for...
chainsaw starts up. Okay. I may have to get that onto my soundboard here, because I really would love to be able to have that music available at the push of a button. Anyway, number one commercial, Christmas themed, of all time, in my humble little opinion. Again, no real branding going on. I'm just going to start it and see if you recognize it.
Thanks a lot. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Everyone's asleep. I know how to wake them up. Come on.
Okay, I said I was going to play this all the way through, but there's such brilliant marketing going on right here. I can't stand it. You want to know what gets me excited? What gets me excited is a good commercial, a good sales pitch, good advertising, and this is hitting every mark. Even though you're not seeing the video, you knew what was going on, didn't you? You could tell that a can of coffee, and by the way, I'm a coffee snob, so this is, for me to be praising a coffee from a can commercial is something. They're smelling it. Scoop in. Now it's going into the pot. That's the sound right there. That was the money shot. That just as that coffee was being poured from the pot into the cup. You can smell it, can't you? Let me back up a few steps just for those that are not familiar with this commercial. The commercial is called Peter Comes Home for Christmas, and Folgers some years ago actually released some information saying his name's not Peter. We don't know where this came from, but somewhere the commercial's always been called Peter Comes Home for Christmas. And it starts with, and we're 32 seconds in, there's still 30 seconds to go, so it's a very rare 1-minute commercial. That first came out in the 1980s. Peter's getting out, being dropped off at home. He's getting out of a VW Beetle. He's carrying some packages. He opens the door. It's obviously early morning. By the way, I just realized as I go back through this, he didn't, that door was unlocked. Not the safest thing in the world to keep your doors unlocked. He comes in, flips the light switch. The tree, massive tree like from a Hallmark Channel movie, lights up. The little girl had heard him. She was asleep. That's the voice you heard. She comes down. Peter gives him a big hug. He says, shh, I know it's going to wake everybody up. And he proceeds to brew the Folgers coffee. So let's pick this up at the halfway point. Mom and Dad are waking up, realizing, my God, we better call the police. Someone's broken into our house. I swore I was going to do a nice job with these. But wouldn't that be your reaction? It's not, okay, what the hell's going on? Someone's downstairs. We left our door unlocked, so we should probably call the police. Honey, get the gun. So Peter's drinking the coffee. Peter just took a tray with the coffee and put it down on a table by the Christmas tree. Mom realizes it's Peter. Oh, his name's Peter? Why did they say his name's not Peter? I'm serious. There's a release that came out that said that it's not Peter Comes Home for Christmas. Oh, maybe they meant the whole title of the commercial isn't Peter Comes Home for... Because the marketing companies, the ad agencies, will have names for their commercials. So I guess that's what they probably meant. That's not the actual name for the commercial. Anyway, so Mom comes up, gives him a big hug.
Oh, you're home.
I missed you, Mom.
How you doing?
I'm the most cynical and sarcastic person in the world. This gets me. It really is beautifully done. Mom and Dad drinking their coffee.
Best wishes for this and all your mornings from Folgers.
Little girl opens the present. I kind of talked over the announcer there.
Best wishes for this and all your mornings from Folgers.
So really the only way of selling the product was the fact that you saw it being brewed halfway through the commercial. You didn't see the can of coffee until the, again, 25-second mark. So about similar to the Coke, but then the commercial continued longer. And you did not see the brand again until the 57, 58-second mark. So not until the very end do you see the brand. So you're watching this whole thing. There's no hard selling. There's no in-your-face Folgers coffee. It's all a heartwarming scene, like I said, looks like it's from a Hallmark Channel movie. And that's what good advertising does. And that's where, if you're going to sell something on television, whether it's a TV shopping network or an infomercial, a good pitch will, when appropriate, work these kind of elements into it, because those are the moments that live on. And that commercial has been a success. I think they finally stopped running it a few years ago, but that ran for decades on television. I think one of the reasons they stopped is it's hard to do a 1-minute commercial anymore. There's very little attention span for that. So that's my little Christmas present. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to hang on. I'll get to my closing line here in just a second. I want to remind you that on the next show, that will be the conclusion of our talk with Steve Bryant about the world of infomercials. And then we'll take a little break into the new year back in 2022. I hope you will make sure to check out all these commercials when I post them to my YouTube channel. Sean Wilsey, search my name on YouTube. That's also how you can find me on Twitter and Facebook. It's Twitter, Sean Wilsey, Facebook, Sean Wilsey, Instagram, S. Wilsey, all that you need to look for. Thank you so much for downloading this special Christmas edition of our We on the Air. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. This has been a King Bobby production.
Yes, I know, Travis. That's why we
Friends,
get such bargains.
Here's a wonderful Christmas gift for anyone who smokes, because it says Merry Christmas and Happy Smoking 200 times. Yes,